What's up everybody, Zen Guardian here, and today I wanted to bring you a commentary I've been thinking about for a little while now. It's something I've been seeing pop up a lot more on Reddit and in different forums, and that's separate weapon tuning balancing patches for PvE and PvP. Now this is no stranger of a conversation to this community. We've been talking about this basically since the inception of the game, more specifically with the Vex Mythic class in the Vault of Glass. Now at the time in year 1, the Vex Mythic class was easily the best weapon in the game for both PvE and PvP. The catch was, it was extremely rare and extremely difficult to get. Back before light levels, back before things got a little bit easier in the game, the Vex Mythic class was the most challenging thing to get in the game. You had to be max light at the time or very close to it. You had to have some of the best weapons for PvE at the time, and you had to take down Atheon before his enrage timer would go off. And all of this was extremely difficult in year 1, especially at the release of the raid and at the release of the Vex Mythic class. Now, of course, those that got it were super rewarded, super proud, super happy to get it, and they took it into PvP and absolutely decimated the opposition with it. It was just very, very strong in PvP. And of course, Bungie, like they always do, nerfed it basically into the ground, nerfed it so heavily that it not only affected PvP, but it also heavily affected PvE. And of course, those players that worked so hard to get it ended up feeling a lackluster experience once they actually got it because of the nerf. And a lot of people considered that this was unfair, and this is basically what sparked this whole separate updates for PvE and PvP. Now, we've been seeing a lot more of this recently, of course, because Destiny 2 is on the way and people are trying to get their feedback in and be heard by Bungie so that these kind of mistakes don't happen with Destiny 2. But this has kind of always had that brick wall in front of it and always been a very difficult and touchy subject in the Destiny community. Because on one hand, you want those separate experiences for PvP and PvE. You want a weapon to be good in PvP and also in PvE, but not too strong in either activity. But you also want to have that cohesive, easy, smooth experience across the board that all feels the same, so that you don't have two completely different experiences. And really, there is no way to have that balance without upsetting one group of people. And it tends to always be the PvE people. Usually what happens is a weapon is found to be really good in PvE, a lot of people use it or a lot of people seek to get it, and then they over abuse that weapon in PvP, or it becomes a mainstay weapon in the PvP space. And then Bungie feels the need to nerf it because of all the outcry, or maybe people are saying it needs to be nerfed in PvP, but they have no choice but to nerf it in both categories because that's just how this game works. I really don't know exactly what ways in Destiny 2 this could be alleviated. A lot of people have said just make completely exclusive guns that only drop and are only used in PvP, and then have the same thing for PvE. Now, I don't think that that's a viable option because, again, a core pillar of Destiny is to have one cohesive experience across the board. They want your weapons, your subclasses, your characters to all follow you across everything that you do in the game, and for all of it to feel exactly the same. If you make exclusive weapons, you immediately take that away, and you make it so that people have to go and do one thing to get this weapon or to use this weapon in this one area, and they aren't able to use it in another area. It just throws the entire ecosystem of Destiny off, and I don't think anybody truly wants that. I just think people are more focused on having their weapons stay good in PvE, but if they need a buff or a nerf to PvP, that's able to happen in a whole different separate realm. Now, there's another group of people that say that the perks that are rolled on the weapons should be more exclusive to PvP or PvE. Now, granted, again, this kind of does have that separation, but I fall more in line on that side of things. Make the weapons that drop more distinctive and more appealing to either side. So if you want a weapon to be a good PvP weapon, have it drop with those PvP perks. Have it drop with stuff like Hidden Hand and Rifled Barrel and stuff like that. And if they want to focus a weapon more towards PvE, have it drop with stuff like Firefly or Extended Mag. These are the kind of things that will immediately trigger to a player, all right, well, this weapon is more geared towards PvP, this weapon is more geared towards PvE. I can't tell you how many questions I get all the time of people that get a brand new weapon and they're like, all right, Zen, here's the perks. Is this weapon good for PvP or is this weapon good for PvE? And a lot of the times it is a judgment judgment call, but to a degree, we know which perks as a community are best in any given scenario. And I think we should use that knowledge going forward in Destiny 2 to really dictate what perks go where and what weapons receive what perks. That way, certain weapons won't have to be nerfed across the board for every activity. They can be more inline and more exclusive to whatever activity you're trying to get across with that weapon. Now, I know that's kind of complex and I know that's a lot to take in, but again, this is one of those conversations where there's a lot of gray area here and there's a lot of things that go into these updates. And of course, like I said before, Bungie is always thinking of both sides and they don't always get it right, but hopefully moving forward, they can do a better job with it. One thing I never want to see again is a weapon being left completely behind that was super good in PvE, but of course, because of its utility in PvP, it just wasn't even able to be upgraded to the max light, and that's the Icebreaker. A lot of people don't remember how good the Icebreaker was in year one because Bungie basically let the weapon go for an entire 2 years of the game because of some of its utility in PvP as well. Back when they took away the special ammo, people started using the Icebreaker as a way to always have special ammo because of its exotic perk of the regenerating ammo. Then of course they started using it in Trials of Osiris, and because it's a sniper rifle you were still able to kill with it and all this crazy stuff. And so Bungie just didn't make it available to max light, so a lot of PvE players weren't able to use that weapon anymore because it just wasn't doing the damage output that it was before. And that's a really unfortunate situation, and that's the kind of thing that I don't want to see happen again. I was one of those people that really liked the Icebreaker and had no choice but to let it go because it just wasn't viable anymore in the current PvE meta because you couldn't upgrade it to the max light. And that's a more extreme case of it, but that's really all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Like I said, I've been seeing this a lot recently, and I just wanted to get you guys' opinions from it and kind of voice mine as well, because again, this is going to be something that'll probably plague Destiny for the rest of its existence. As long as they want to keep everything the same and make your Guardian feel the same across the board, this is basically always going to be something that is talked about. So let me know how you guys feel about this down below. Do you think that Bungie should make exclusive weapons for PvP or PvE? Do you think that they should have more distinct perks that really only roll on certain weapons so that the players know when it's a PvP weapon or a PvE weapon? Do you think Bungie should stop nerfing weapons into oblivion? Just let me know everything you have down below in the comment section. If you did enjoy the video, hit it with a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been ZG. I'm out.